Okay, for our next step, we are going to assemble the exterior pieces so that we're ready to put the bottom on and put our whole basket together. So we're going to take our two pieces that have our trim and our body with our handles sewn on, and we are going to put them right sides together. And we're going to match up where our trim pieces are so that we have a nice even line all the way around the outside. We're going to pin those. And the same thing on the other side. Making sure that those two trim pieces match up perfectly or close to perfect. And then we're going to take this to the machine and we're going to sew a 1/2 inch seam down both sides. I'm going to back stitch at the beginning and at the end. You're going to get to this really bulky part where the two trims and all that seam meets up, so just go a little bit slow there. Shouldn't be any problem getting it through your machine. All right, there's one side, and now we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, we finished that up, so now we have our two sides sewn together so that we have a nice big tube. I'm going to switch to this one to finish up. We are just going to do the same thing that we did with the lining. We're going to match up our notches to the corners. So to review, we're going to make a 90-degree angle on the corner. We're going to pin it on both sides. This is going to be a little bit trickier with all of this foam. Just a little bit more to manage. A little bit of bulk. You're going to have to muscle it around a little bit. We're going to just pin every corner in place. Okay, so this is my last corner. And now I'm going to pin the rest in between. You'll notice that this is a little bit easier in this particular area than doing it with the interface pieces, because you have a little bit more give on your fabric. So it's not so hard to make everything line up. All right, one side to go. Then once I'm done pinning these, I'm going to take it to my machine again, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did with my lining, and I'm going to sew 4 separate seams. Just want to make sure that when you do this and you sew one seam, that you overlap your other seam so that we're really getting a nice locked in seam there. So I'm going to start on one side. I'm going to back stitch at the beginning and at the end. And in this particular situation, you can still follow that stitching, or you can follow your seam guide. I like to follow my stitching, and you're working with a lot of bulk here, so just take your time to get through it all. And it's the trickiest when you get to the very ends. This is where your bag is going to be most likely to shift. All right, here we go. Okay, we're done. Now we're just going to go through and notch the corners just like we did with our lining. Being careful to not cut through any seams. All right, now we're going to turn this one right side out. I'm sure about it this time. I'm just going to gently poke out those corners. And there is our outside. So next step, we're going to put our outside and our inside together.